Hello and welcome to another episode of Dumb and Dumbest with me, Matt Bacon, and my beautiful co-host, Curtis Stewart.
Wonderful Curtis Stewart.
The wonderful Curtis Stewart, the most beautiful co-host of all.
This is a running gig
podcast where everything is terrible and the house is on fire. So Today we want to talk about something we see a lot of bands get caught up in.
And people in general.
But bands in particular. This is one of the biggest things that stops bands from getting the success they want when they want it.
Yeah.
And that is too much planning and not enough action.
Yep.
Now, don't get me wrong. I'm all about planning. I spend most of my days planning. Be it marketing plans, be it fucking figuring out what Q4 is going to look like for my company. Figuring out how this album rollout is going to look like. That is my job.
Yep.
Right. But important is to realize sometimes you just need to execute.
Yep.
And you need to say fuck it and just go out there and fucking kill and see what happens. Julius Caesar, when he was crossing the Rhine into from Spain, not the Rhine, oh my God. The Rhine. He's crossing the Rubicon, different R river that was culturally important in Europe. Anyway, he's crossing the Rubicon and he says, Alea Iacta Est, the die have been cast. And that's sort of like probably the most important quote in my life is like he had all his shit lined up, but then, he was fully willing to admit that it was a dice game, when he was going to fuck with Pompey and Crassus and all those people.
Mm-hmm.
And ultimately, this is what I'm saying, right? Am I making sense? Is basically sometimes you just need to throw the dice and see what happens, because so often I think we see bands that get caught up in the minutia of like shit that even like big bands I work with aren't really concerned about.
Yeah. Can I speak on this?
Yes.
Okay, well, here's my take on it, is I think you need to have a goal that you want to attain with your project or your band or whatever, but as being your driving focus, but the details aren't as important as that. Like, you want to plan, like Matt said, but don't get too hung up in the details, because, like, for example, if you don't release music because of the fact that he gave an example to me earlier that you're not registered, it's stupid.
On ASCAP.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, that's stupid. Or, you can't put on a show because you don't have, I don't know, a perfect shirt or something that night, or the perfect prop or something like that. You know what I mean? Like, that's just stupid. I mean, just execute, because the more time you waste doing nothing and figuring things out, like something stupid, well, you're not going to get anything done. There's someone else who's going to release something and pass you by while you're still sitting there trying to figure out a dumb detail. Or another great example is about bands who want to get signed to a label, and then they sit there and they try to figure out what label they want to present to, but then they never send anything. I've seen that happen lots too, right? So
yeah, well, because it's like Relapse. Like, when you look at the bands who signed to Relapse, which is a label I know a lot of people here want to get signed to, like, those are good fucking bands, but and they're very they're predominantly very, very pro and like put together. But like here's just a little thing, right? Is like they don't all have like managers and their shit registered with ASCAP.
Yeah.
Like, they're not like trying to figure out minutiae of things that like to make them so, like, the back end shit that you think makes you look more pro. 95% of it really only matters for people on a high level.
Yep.
Like trying to present yourself in a big fancy way doesn't matter if no one cares.
Exactly. The main thing you got to work at is your own marketing and presenting of your product. That's the main key thing. And in this case, the product is the music. So if you work on your presentation of it versus the details, you'll do a lot better.
Yeah, exactly. And again, like, there are holes in major bands careers that are like kind of gaping and shocking. Like go look at the Metallica Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like it's there. They've got followers, but it's like it's not great.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and they're Metallica.
Yep.
You know, but ultimately it doesn't matter for Metallica.
No.
And what I'm trying to say is like Metallica realize what matters to their specific niche of fans. That now I also want to make this clear. Don't try to use Metallica's marketing as how you're going to market yourself. Because Metallica's already sold, right? Like Metallica already have a reputation and are already like a thing.
Yeah.
You know, whereas
focusing on some of the trying to model some of the smaller labels who are successful, like Hell's Headbangers and stuff, it would be good for a lot of people to model, in my opinion, at least.
Yeah, no, like I know people
without the Nazis, obviously, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, I mean, like I know people who are interested in what we do with Ripple and just try to emulate that for their stoner rock bands because maybe we couldn't sign them or for whatever reason.
Yep.
You know.
Yep.
And then they just, you know, like the basic marketing plan that we run most Ripple bands through is not really inaccessible to people who can save up, you know, a few $1,000s and you know, and pay for their shit. Like you can get RPR people to do PR for you might not be able to get Carl. I think he might only work with labels, but like, you know, you can get quality PR people
like me.
Yeah. And you can get, you know, you can get all that and just emulate the marketing. That doesn't mean that a label doesn't make it easier. A label does make it easier and makes it better and gets you the brand.
Yeah.
But you know, don't put the cart before the horse, which is what you see a lot of bands doing because they feel like everything has to be perfect. And it's like, even like that even goes for playing shows. Like honestly, the first like 5 shows you play in 99% of situations are going to suck.
Yep.
And it doesn't matter if you've performed separately before. Like if this is your first time performing together as a band, the first 5 shows or so are going to suck.
Yep.
And like, don't get all hung up on them being like sick opening slots, bro.
Yep.
Because that's not the point. Like I see so many bands. This is not a joke. I see so many bands who like have played fewer than like local level bands.
Yep.
Who've played fewer than 20 shows who get really concerned about getting on big opening slots.
Which is stupid.
And it's like, well, you've not even really grown in the scene.
Yeah. It's the same thing happens in PR where you'll get a band that's on their debut and they're like, well, why aren't we in Decibel? It's like, well, you might, but it's not that likely.
If you send the right person that Decibel loops memes,
yeah.
You will be.
Well, and also, but there's also times when it's just not right for them, right? Like our Loop's friend doesn't always take everything that either one of us send them.
Yeah, although
you know what I mean.
Loops.
He does like the loops. I'm sure the loops would help a lot more, but I mean, yeah, I mean, just the too much planning even goes for like even your marketing actions. Like I don't know how many bands will talk to me that they want like a detailed plan on their PR, and I mean, I can give them a detailed plan, but 99% of the time, the plan's going to change within like a day. You know what I mean? The basic plan is, you know, you get the album out, you get the person reviews, you get the interviews, you get the news items, you can guest call them. That's the basic plan. How much more minutia do you want? I can give it to you, but it's not going to happen that way. And I'm sure that the same thing happens with you on your marketing efforts too, Matt.
Well, yeah, but I think I think having the general idea is important.
Yeah. Well, yeah, the general idea, obviously, but I'm saying some people will want like detailed plans, like this happens this date, exact time, and then you put out this marketing. You know what I mean? It's next day it could all change because maybe Noisy wants to stream your album. You know what I mean? If something else happens, or you know.
Yes, or the person you thought was interested is not actually interested.
Exactly, or everybody hates the album and you thought they were all going to love it, so now you got to figure out a way of getting people to still cover it, even though you're the only person in the world who actually likes it, apparently.
Has that happened to you?
Well, I've had the reverse happen where I love to tell this story about the label that I worked with a number of years ago when I first started that had hired me to do on retainer, basically. And then they got me to do this they had high quality material as far as I was concerned. But this one album they sent me, I fucking hated. I thought it sucked so bad. Worst thing I'd ever heard. I've still tried listening to it as recently as like a year ago. Thought it was awful. And they got it to me, and I was like, I don't know what to do because I've already been paid. I've already agreed to do this. So I'm kind of stuck with it, right? So I put it out there, and it ends up on all these fucking best of lists. So I was like the only person in the world that didn't like this album, apparently.
That's pretty funny.
It is pretty funny. And I to this very day, I don't understand it. Like, I don't know. It was like beyond me, this album, and I will never say for the life of me who it was, but it was early in my career.
Clearly, you're not interested enough in intellectual metal for true savants, bro.
It must be that, because it was kind of like it was like arty black metal, and I was just like, I don't get that shit.
It's because you didn't. It's because you didn't go to school in Europe.
Apparently. But anyways, the point of that little lesson too is that I still made a go of it, even though I wasn't fully confident in it because I agreed to do the campaign. I didn't back out, and everything worked out.
Yeah, and then so the final part of kind of getting lost in the planning is, in my experience, most of the bands who get very intense about the planning are also the bands with the least amount of experience.
Yeah, they are.
Which I appreciate, like, I don't know, like, I'm not entirely sure what I'm doing, so I don't want to, like, I don't want to fuck up. But also, like, realize that if this is your first time doing it, your expectations and estimations are going to be grossly inaccurate a lot of the time, just because, you know what I mean?
You should have high expectations, but you should also be aware that they're probably not going to be met on your first time. Like,
what I'm saying is, like, I've seen bands where, like, the goal is like, okay, let's make back gas money, and this is how much we need to make a night. And then they didn't do it.
Yeah.
And that's okay.
Yeah.
But, like, but also it was their first time on the road, and they just radically overestimated how many people would give a shit.
Yeah, you're probably going to not make a ton of money your first time around, and it's all a learning experience, and it isn't a long-term investment as long as you keep at it and you don't break up after a week or something, right?
Like, and I've seen so many times, like, so many times bands will come up with some bullshit reason. Frequently, and this is going to sound shitty, but frequently it's mental health, and it's not actually mental health. It's just, we realized how fucked we are financially.
Yeah.
Like, that doesn't help you.
Yeah.
Like, you just need to come to terms with that. Like, don't get caught up in the, like, if you really, like, if I think about how much money I have lost doing music and how much money I could be making, like I still don't think I've made enough money in my life to come back from the college fucking scholarship I walked away from.
Yeah, probably not.
Like, like, so I don't, but you can't think about that. You have to think about, okay, well, does this put me in a better position for what I want to do 10 years down the line, right? I think one of the biggest struggles bands face today is that they're not looking over the long term. They think everything's going to come quickly because it happens to 1% of bands quickly.
Yeah.
But that's really not the case. Look at fucking Red Fang. They all got popular after they were like 40.
Same thing with Mastodon. They took quite a while too before they got big. I mean, it wasn't like that long, but it was a relatively long period of time.
Yeah.
Like 6-7 years.
It's going to take time. This is how it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway.
And the other thing too is that I mean, as long as you're taking action towards what you're trying to get, you're going to eventually accomplish what you want. But the thing is, it comes back to what we were talking about yesterday about persistency and keeping going with your marketing and keeping going with all your other actions in order to make sure that you actually finally break through, right? I mean, that's the thing, is that most people aren't going to take enough action in order to be able to do their music to a profitable level, right? So there's only going to be a small percentage of people that will.
Yeah, I had a friend, Christian Larson of Venomous Maximus. He's also a promoter out in Houston.
That's one of my favorite bands. If you know him, introduce him to me for PR next time, Matt. Tell him that.
Okay,
you're listening. I want to do your PR next time.
Oh, I didn't realize you were a Venomous Maximus fan. We'll make it happen.
Yeah, I love the last two albums. Fucking love them. But anyways. Neither here nor there.
Anyway, irregardless.
Mm-hmm.
The point I'm trying to make is like that guy had a really good point when he said to me, why do you expect when you're putting in hobby level dedication, why do you expect to get professional level results?
That's the thing.
And so many people, like, at the end of the day, like, so many people get caught up in the minutia, and like the minutia can be fun. Like I fucking manage bands and work at labels. I obviously like the minutia.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But like at the end of the day, I also realize, cool, well, but that's my job. My job is not to actually go out and deliver music. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I haven't written a song in like 2 years.
Yeah.
No, actually, no. It's been like a year since I've written a song. It was a pop punk song about Satan.
Elmo. It was about Elmo or something like that.
No, Satan. It was my satanic pop punk band, Lucifer's Kids.
Elmo's Kids? What?
Bandcamp.com.
It was Sesame Street theme song, Matt. Just admit it.
Maybe.
Anyways, what were you saying?
Anyway. And now you got me all muddled.
That was the intention. I wanted to see you fuck up.
Jesus.
You were talking about hobby level
yes, hobby level dedication.
Yeah.
For a pro level for a project you want professional results from. And this is what I'm saying is like, okay, if you work your out, like fucking Toke are not a big band. 2 of the guys in that band pay themselves salaries.
Yeah.
I saw Toke play to like 35 people last night in New York City.
Yeah.
But guess what? They work their fucking asses off so that they can constantly sell merch so that they can sort of be Toke. You know what I mean?
Yeah. That's their full-time gig, right?
Yeah. I mean, they're living in North Carolina, so it's not like they're paying rent out the ass like I am, but still, like,
yeah.
You know, they understand, like, oh, well, if we put in a shit ton of work, people are going to pay attention.
Yep.
You know, and, you know, they're not caught up in the planning. They do plan, but they're not like, here, something, I was talking to Spine Farm's head of marketing about this, Darren Toms, and he was telling me that his marketing plans for, like, Ghost and shit are, like, 14 pages long.
Wow.
Which is not that long.
A lot longer than what I do, but anyways.
Yeah, but
I'm not at Spine Farm level.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. You know, the ones you get if you work with me, I think are like 6 pages.
Yeah.
You know, but like, again, we're not getting caught up in the minutiae.
Yeah.
And that's the key.
Well, the other good point about Spine Farm, too, is that they also have a lot of people to outsource that stuff, too, as well. It's not just a couple people working it, so they can probably actually execute a 14-page plan.
Yes, they have people who focus on the minutiae.
Yeah.
That should not be your big concern. Your big concern should be going out, playing shows, making friends.
And then once you get employees, then you can do that.
Yes, become a better live band and, you know, fucking post the fuck out of your social media.
Yeah. Do everything you can to be engaging.
Yes. Anyway, we are near the end of our time. So Curtis, what do you have to plug?
I got a few things to plug. So today, Friday, which is so this is going to be coming out tomorrow, I think.
Fuck, probably.
Okay, well today
I'm so bad at uploading these after we record them.
Okay, well Friday, September 7th, we got two.
Wait.
What?
No, real talk. Just because I'm so bad at uploading these.
Yeah.
If you want to be my intern and help me with this type of shit, like uploading shit, like you don't even need to be on site. I just need someone to handle like distribution of things. And I will teach, and Curtis and I will teach you like everything you need to know about the music business.
We will.
You know,
that's now offering my time.
Yes, but if you want to be our intern, specifically my intern, but our intern, and just make sure our shit gets everywhere it needs to be.
Matt will be your new best friend, and apparently I will too. Now that he's offered me up for sale without even talking to me about it.
I just, spur of the moment, Curtis. I was not caught up in the details
I don't care. They can. I like this idea because we need someone to do it. So I agree with you fully. It's a great idea.
Okay. Anyway,
back to what I was promoting. Before I was so rudely interrupted. Today, September 7th, we have new albums from Allfather and Flummox out today. Flummox, really, really good, kind of like Mr. Bungle. Out today on CD and digital. Same thing with Allfather. Allfather apparently has now sold over 100 units of CDs, to my understanding. And this is day one it's out. They're number 11, I think Tom said, on Bandcamp sales for the day. Or for the, I don't know if that's the day, the week, the month, or whatever it is, but it's like number 11 on, I think it's the metal sales, might be everything, but I'm pretty sure it's just metal. So if you want a band, to look at a band on that is doing well on social media, look at their Twitter, look at their Instagram, follow what they are doing, do stuff like they are doing, because they just made $100, sorry, not $100, 100 CD, not digital, CD sales on their album that just released today, which is damn good. Even Matt will tell you that.
It is. I think I premiered it on Metal Injection.
You did. You premiered it last week.
Okay.
That's going senile.
That suggests I listen to it at some point. Anyway.
Tom's going to be mad at that crack.
Very cool.
Listen to this.
Very cool. Anyway. I got
one more thing to plug, actually.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Also, one other thing. I got a premiere out today for a band called Anisoptera. I think that's how you pronounce it. They are premiering at Subterranean today, and Hessian, good band, traditional metal bands, friends of Heavy Temple, just premiered a new track at New Noise magazine as well today. So go check those out. Huh?
Great magazine, New Noise.
They are a great magazine. So go check that out. New Noise for Hessian and Subterranean for Anisoptera, and then the other two albums I mentioned, Flummox and Allfather. I'll shut up now.
Yeah. Anyway, if you want social media feedback, like every week, it's gotten all the clients who've done it a lot more traction. It's very easy to get 10. You get like 10 bullet points. And you also get a free social media plan. It's $50 a month. Hit me up. My email will be in the episode notes.
Oh, by the way, are we going to do these group calls that we were talking about?
Oh, yeah. So Curtis had a cool idea for something that we're trying to do. He's going to be rolling it out in our Dropout Social group.
Yeah.
But Curtis, go.
Basically, we're going to be doing group calls where we will, it'll be better than the podcast, obviously. So anybody who's in Dropout Social, I think we're just going to do Dropout Social. We'll figure it out at some point. I was thinking one call every couple weeks where we kind of go over a certain topic and we help people answer any questions. It's kind of like you're getting a free consulting session with us almost twice a month. I think it's twice a month we're going to do. Maybe we'll start off with one. I don't know. I haven't figured out the details yet.
Twice a month, yeah.
Yeah. So if you want to join, go to Dropout Social. When are we starting? I'm not sure yet. It's one of those things that's on the to-do list. I'll probably just randomly decide to do it one day. And me and Matt will just do a Facebook Live or something like that. And then all of a sudden, boom, there you go. So if you want to be part of that, go to Dropout Social, ask to join. One of us will approve you, and you can talk, get any questions answered, or give any ideas you want to about whatever the topic is that day. We'll probably talk about mainly marketing and social media, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
So,
but no, direct, lots of direct questions, lots of, you will be there. We will record it so that you can have it for, posterity to show your kids. This is the time I asked Curtis Dewar a question, and he answered something dumb.
Yeah. You asked about if your music is any good, and I talked about the color of my socks for an hour.
Yeah, I bet I could figure out that metaphor.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I didn't think of it. I wasn't even thinking of a metaphor until you brought it up. But
anyway, that'll be cool. We're going to that'll be launching eventually. We've got a lot on our plates. I've got literally $2 million companies I'm working on launching in the next 3 weeks.
Okay, Ty Lopez.
So
anybody who tweets out Matt Bacon is the Ty Lopez of heavy metal will have my eternal gratitude.
I will buy anyone who I'm going to give you value right now, dear listeners. If you post on Instagram about me or Bacon's Bits or whatever, some sort of Matt Bacon content experience type thing, and say, Matt Bacon is the Gary V of metal.
Ty Lopez.
No, I want you to say Matt Bacon is the Gary V of metal.
Tai Lopez. Yeah.
I'm sober, okay? I don't care. I will buy you a drink. If you post about like next time we see each other in person.
You must be in New York City to do this.
No, I go to a lot of festivals.
Oh, true. Good point.
You know, so like we see each other at Psycho Las Vegas or whatever. You just have to tell me, oh hey, you have to show me the post. You know, this is where I said that Matt Bacon is the Gary V of metal. I want to
buy you a Coke Zero.
I will not buy. I'll buy you an alcoholic beverage or a non-alcoholic beverage if you're like me and can't handle the alcoholic beverages.
That's a great deal, Matt.
I mean, I just want to see if it'll happen. Like, yeah. I think it's important to realize that a lot of these silly things I do are really just like, I wonder if I could just make this happen. Like, is this an option?
My bet is no one's going to do the Gary V post, but we'll see.
You know, it's a free beer for an Instagram post. I'm just saying.
I might just do it just for laughs, but we'll see. But mine will say Gary V and Tai Lopez.
Okay, that's fine. Anyway, thank you guys for listening.
Are we done yet? Done yet?